Thank you very much. Now, what we've heard is, from all of them, what they would do if they got elected. What I want to ask them is, what are you going to do if you don't get elected to make sure your agenda keeps going? And it's possible you will, and I'd be delighted if all of you got elected and did many of the things you said you were going to do. But here's the man who said you probably won't do it if you get elected. So what would you do?
If come May the 8th, the result that we're looking for hasn't materialised, I'll probably spend a couple hours really thinking about how short-sighted people are. and how an anecdote. The other day I was riding my bicycle coming across Waterloo Bridge, and something had me turn back very quickly. And as I turned my bike around, there was a gentleman crossing the road, looking over his right shoulder for any traffic coming around off the Strand. And there was a bus hurtling towards him, and it was gonna smack him. And I was like, yo! And he turned his head and he saw the bus and he jumped back, and the bus missed him by about 1 foot. And you could see he was really shook up, and the bus went off heading into South London. And I said, I just saved your life, do you realise that? And he's like, oh, thank you, mate, thank you. I said, no, I saved your life. Like, you would have been splattered. He said, what should I do? I said, vote Green. And I swear to God, as we say, as the Muslims say, Wallahi, I swear to God. I said, vote Green. And you know what this man said to me? He said, I can't. I'm a Labour voter. And I said, but I just saved your life. and so as I rode off into South London, that really got me thinking that to take people out of their habit and their comfort zone with new ideas is such a huge step. Down in Cole Harbour Ward, now I'm going to get down to the nitty-gritty. We had one of the lowest turnouts nationally. One year, the turnout in Cole Harbour Ward was, I think, 14%. 85% of the people, 86% of the people in Cole Harbour Ward could not be bothered to go out and vote. And the 14% who did vote, go and vote for Labour. So what happens is that the Labour councillors in Cole Harbour Ward take that vote for absolute granted. So they don't even campaign. So when we as Greens went last year and we hit the streets of Cole Harbour, and this is where we live and where we know and people see us and we're part of the community, and when the results came through that Labour took us 3 votes to 1, and people that I knew personally, who I had done representations for, said to me, I'm a Labour voter. What's this Green thing about? I said, but you know me. I kept you in your house when the Labour council were trying to evict you, and you voted for Labour. And I always think of the guy crossing the road in the bus. And no matter what you try to do, people will just do what they do because that's what they do. You know, I've always supported Chelsea, so that's what I do. And what's really upsetting for me, or not upsetting because, you know, we're politicians, we can't get upset, we just take it on board. But what really strikes me is that how people are so tribal with their politics. So even when the politicians are sticking it to you, and I use that word crudely, you still go back and vote for the politicians that are sticking it to you. And I'm like, wow, what's going on with the Kool-Aid in South London that people keep electing and electing? So today, as I've said, we had a group of residents down on the Guinness estate, and these residents who were threatened with homelessness a couple of years ago went to see their local MP, who was Tessa Jow. And Tessa Jow did nothing to help these people in their plight. And these are the most vulnerable members of this Dulwich and West Norwood constituency. And they went to Tessa Jow, they went to her surgery, you know, up by the park, and they went there and they put all their concerns forward and nothing happened. And then they came to us guys, and we're out there today helping them to keep the roofs over their heads. So when you talk about engagement, I'm like, yeah, okay, well, tell that to the guys down in Loughborough Park. Tell that to my guys down in Brixton on Summer Leighton Estate and Moorlands. Tell it to those guys where they got 60% unemployment amongst the youth down there. and be it Labour, be it Conservative, nothing happens. So they don't engage, and the politicians don't bother dealing with people who aren't engaged in the process. So what I would do,
That's what you do.
So what I would do, apart from talk a good fight, what I would do is that I would go back out and I would educate the people of our community as to what it means to be a member of a democratic society and how you should educate yourself as to what you should and shouldn't be doing. And don't just give up your vote willy-nilly. The history of this struggle that people go through, from the women who went out and sacrificed themselves to the people like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela went to jail for 27 years, for the working class common man who had to fight for the right to vote, to just give it up on sound bites, is so sad. It's so, so sad. It's not an accident that Greens have the highest IQ. It's not an accident.
So what's the Conservative, just supposing you don't get elected,